Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Adrian with Hot Toys, and I know it's been a minute since I did a video, so I just wanted to go ahead and do a quick video on my customization of the 1/6 Hot Toys Tumbler Batmobile from Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. When I first got this thing, I got it for dirt cheap, so I was very happy to get it well below asking price that you could find on eBay or someplace like that. And I initially didn't really want to do any customizations on it. It seemed very, very complicated, but after seeing what Jazz Inc. has put out with their specs for their prototype of their 1/6 tumbler, it sort of kind of gave me the motivation and the inspiration to do something to this one. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love Jazz Inc. I actually have a couple of their products. I have a couple more products that are coming through. However, they are pushing out a lot of stuff right now, and I had to make some choices. You know, I have the tumbler right now from Hot Toys, but then I'm also interested in, Jazz Inc.'s Batcave that they have coming out. So it's like, I had to make some decisions. So I figured I have this Batmobile, I might as well see what I can do to, maybe do some upgrades. And honestly, it was quite the experience. It was difficult, but I really approached this as something that was impossible. And I was actually surprised at what I was able to get done with it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the customization. So I'll start with the exterior. The first thing I wanted to take care of was maybe give the Batmobile more of a weathered look, make it look like it's been used. So I went ahead and started with a very light airbrush on the exterior. It really enhanced those angles, those cuts, those details. It really brought it out and gave it a lot of life. So I was very happy with how that came out. After that, it was just some dry brushing in certain areas, some on the struts, some on the exhaust pipes, some on the tires, and really just try to dirty it up and give it that more lifelike, weathered, used appeal. And it really does bring the vehicle to life. I was very satisfied with how that turned out. Another thing that was disappointing to me when Hot Toys issued this tumbler was the lack of detail in the front end. So I went ahead and 3D printed some rods and struts and decided to put them in place. And that really brought out the features as far as making it looking more functional, more like the real life version of the tumbler. The last thing I did to give a more lifelike appearance was replace the plastic surface of the intakes with an actual grill mesh. So I was able to get the intake piece off by unscrewing it from the inside. The piece itself is hollow inside, so that was good. I only had to really just cut that thin layer of plastic out. After that, I put a little bit of tubing behind it just to make it look like there's something going on in there. But it really did give it that lifelike appeal. Went ahead and added the same aluminum mesh behind the headlights. And again, it was just another detail to make it much more lifelike. Customizing the exterior didn't turn out to be super duper difficult. Like I said, it was just these small enhancements that really made it much more lifelike and made it feel like you were looking at a miniaturized version of the actual tumbler. So I was just really satisfied with how everything turned out with the exterior. Just a side note real quick, I decided to go ahead and get a dummy battery kit off of Amazon. So now instead of having to always replace those batteries, I can simply plug the tumbler in, turn on the lights, and let them run all day long. The interior was very, very intimidating to do. I tried searching everywhere online to find out ways, how can I take stuff out, how do I disassemble this thing? And there wasn't a whole lot of help out there. I really had to just go in and try to figure it out. However, I will say once I did figure it out, things got a lot more fun for me. So first, just a quick note, if you're looking to do any kind of interior upgrades to this thing, the first thing you have to do is unscrew the bottom from it. So you turn it upside down, you take out the screws, you take out the bottom portion. Once you remove that, you have access to inside. The side panels inside themselves are held in place by hidden screws, which are covered with thin layers of plastic. Once you got those side panels out, that gives you access to the screws that hold the intakes in place. And then you also have now a way to take the dash out. In the front, there are a couple of screws that hold the dash in place, and those screws are a little difficult to get to on the very front end. So just be careful getting those off. I would suggest using a hair dryer or something to kind of loosen, especially that front glass hub part. That's mostly snapped in place and with glue, so just be careful with those portions. in order to get those out of the way so that you can loosen up the screws to take the dash out. Once I got the dash removed, I went ahead and carved out all of the screens that were already on there. I replaced them with thin acrylic panels and glued some decals onto them. I ran some LED lights and I ran some fiber optic cable, and just like that, I had a lit up dash. I also got rid of the green circular main display and I 3D printed my own monitor, put it on there, a decal to sort of mimic the loiter screen from The Dark Knight. And I lit it up with the blue LED and it just came to life, man. Everything on the dash looked so good once it was all lit up. It made me wonder why Hot Toys didn't put the lights in the first place. It really wasn't that difficult. One of the main things that always jumps out to me about this particular Batmobile is the amount of high-tech gadgetry on the inside with all the screens and monitors, and that was something that I really wanted to capture. So I went ahead and modeled and 3D printed some screens, ran some LEDs in them, put some decals, and man, what a difference. A couple of other enhancements in the interior was adding to the throttle monitor and lighting that up, and also running an LED light to the steering wheel. I went ahead and 3D printed out some floor pieces after I took some measurements and did some modeling in the program. I printed them out in silver. I then printed out some foot pads to go in there, glued those in. I painted the buttons red and the background black, and then I added a little bit of airbrush to give it a little weathering. It was just something very, very simple that enhanced the overall look of the interior, so I was very happy with that. The final thing that I did for the interior was to see if I can get these overhead screens in. Now, I know that the canopy screens were going to be impossible. It really wasn't worth the time and effort, being that I really wasn't going to be able to see those. I was very interested in getting those overhead monitors that sort of sit at an angle. So I modeled out some, printed them out, and man, I was able to fit them in, and I was able to position them so that they didn't really interfere when I put a figure in. I put a Bruce Wayne figure in. Hopefully, I am planning on getting the seated Batman from Jazz Inc., and hopefully that fits. And they didn't interfere. So I was able to add more of the actual interior Batmobile look without having to sacrifice being able to put a figure in there. All of the LEDs on the interior are running to the same source. I went on Amazon and I got a 12-volt power supply with a switch. I glued the female portion in place after I drilled a hole behind the driver's side and at the bottom of the tumbler. Then I just plug in the adapter to that, turn on the switch, and everything lights up. The whole customization took me about 2 to 3 weeks to do. I'd say more like 3 weeks to do, but it was definitely worth it. Like I said, man, this was a lot of it was stuff that I thought was going to be impossible to do, that just after I just jumped in and started doing it, man, I was so satisfied with how everything was coming out. There may be some more upgrades that I do in the future. I'm still thinking about some things, but for right now, I'm very happy with how this customization turned out. Extremely happy. So I hope this video inspires you to, maybe if you are looking to upgrade your Hot Toys Tumbler or do some tinkering, maybe this video inspires you to do that and up your game a little bit. I was extremely surprised with stuff I was able to do, so I don't know, give it a shot. You might be able to surprise yourself. And if you're interested in any of the 3D parts that I have for this, that I have printed out, please get at me and DM me on Instagram. Just go to Tris Toys on Instagram. You'll see the logo. Send me a DM and let me know what you need, and we can work something out. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure you hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and maybe consider subscribing. Other than that, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.